Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. Today's guest is Custodio Gomes, author of The Human Experience, Metamorphosis, Life, Love, and War. Three outstanding books, but I can only read one at a time. And the first one is outstanding. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
All right, man. So happy to have you here. And just want to let you know right off the bat that your stories are already inspirational to me. I'm also an author myself, so I'm already thinking of other things to get myself involved in, and just want to let you know you get a 5 stars from me already.
I appreciate that. That's it's an honor to hear that. I'm honored. I'm humbled and honored.
Yes. We got some mutual friends, and they talk highly about you, and and I said, yeah, I got to get this. I got to get this man on this podcast, and so he can share his story, share his craft with us. And so, tell us a little bit about you. Tell the really Charlie folks about you.
100% Cape Verdean. I was born, and I'll say it the right way. I'm not gonna say it in a because we usually say Saint Saint, but
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Saint Vicent. I came to the States when I was almost 10 years old. I came with my parents and my siblings. We lived in Brooklyn, New York for some years, and then we moved to Connecticut. Went through the educational system. Been working in the educational system for a while. It used to be first it was history, but then it's been special ed for a while. And I've always, I've always wanted to write books. I always wanted to inspire people, and I just didn't know, what I wanted to do. But once I felt the need that books would be the avenue to go, I just went with it, and it just really worked out really well for me. As a lot of people have supported me, not only in the Cape Verdean community but everywhere else. So I'm always humbled and honored when people ask me to do any kind of um, podcast or any kind of interviews. But that's me in a nutshell.
That's good. That's awesome. I like it. Um, if we don't inspire each other, um, some people may not want to inspire us, whether that's at school, whether it's at work, whether that's in
Mm,
our own household. So we got to keep up the good work and keep inspiring people.
absolutely.
A couple of weeks ago, I had Bella Montero on here, and she's the one that kind of brought me to ask you for the give you the invite to the podcast.
Yeah,
And
she's a
so
phenomenal author.
yeah, she is. Yeah. I'm so glad to have her book on my shelf, your book on my shelf now. I'm gonna get on fellow author Lucy
Continue.
Cotino. Yep, I'm gonna
Hmm.
get her book. That's in the mail. So and she'll be on the podcast soon. So
Yeah, she's
uh, that's awesome. Uh,
absolutely.
and I've been listening to her podcast, and so is that something you're looking to do? Something like that.
You know what? Maybe in the future. But I never say no to anything or no that won't happen in any way. But I'm a very busy person,
Yeah.
so I'm a single father. Been raising my daughter for about 7 years now.
Okay.
So with her, with work, we're writing these books. I have a new one that's coming out very soon. Which that will probably be the book that I've been wanting to write for years, and I was just shying away from it because trying to become a novelist is a very different thing than writing the stories that I've written in the books that I have out already. But
Sure.
as for being doing a podcast, it interests me and it intrigues me. So I won't say yes, I won't say no, but we never know what the future holds.
And with your contacts, you probably have other friends or
Yeah.
family members that have podcasts. So I'm pretty sure if you just kind of reach out to them, say, "Look, I want to do something today. Can I co-host with you?" So you might want to do it that way,
Probably because I do. You're right. I do have a lot of friends who do podcasts. So in every kind of, like it could be authors, they can be educators or whatever it is. But I do have a lot of friends who do podcasts.
So that's good. It's a good way of getting the news out.
Yeah,
Other than those, kind of conventional ones, this is definitely it's really like a rap session, podcast. You can kind of talk, feel the way you want to feel, talk the way you want to talk, and with no restrictions, you can kind of just say it like it is, and that's the one thing I like about the podcast.
absolutely.
So, yeah. So, the human experience. Tell me something about this. A brief bio without kind of.
Man, the human experience was so. It was my second book. I have 3 books out. The human experience was my second book, but it was a very draining book to write. It was very emotionally draining because what I did is I wanted to write a book in a way that I've never seen written before. The way that I wrote it's very unique because I wanted the reader to feel what the people were saying. So what I did is I interviewed 8 people. I'm the ninth person, the ninth story in the book, and I wanted to write it in the first person kind of format. So it's not, let's say, if the person is John, I'm not going to say, well, John did blah, blah, blah. I
Mm-hmm.
became those people. So what I did is I interviewed them and I asked them, to be 100% honest with me with what they went through, not only what they went through, but what helped them overcome what they went through. And also I wanted to know what they were feeling, what they were going through. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you read the book, you will see, the way that it's written in the format that it's written is it splits. It tells a story, and then the next page it kind of delves into whatever feeling that the person was feeling in the page before. And once they get that emotional discourse out, what they do is the next page comes back to the story. So it just kind of gives you, an input into what the person's um, mentality was at the time that they were going through it. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to pick stories that and topics that I know everybody would relate to.
Mm-hmm.
So because it ranges out of, so many things. It ranges, child custody, single parenthood, sexual abuse, domestic abuse, um, the penal system. I also have and I know all these people personally, so it was easy. It was easy to get it done because they were so willing to help out with the book and they wanted to tell their stories. And I also have a friend of mine who survived the Rwanda genocide. I have a friend of mine who was, in the war of Iraq. So, the topics range from different parts. So, what I wanted to do, I wanted to at least grab one person for every story. Let's say if you read it, you may not relate to the 9 stories in it, but you may relate to one. And you will say,
Mm-hmm.
you know what, I went through that, or somebody I know went through that. So the whole point of it, as of for anything that one does, is to inspire. And I want it to be a very inspirational book. And with the feedback that I received from it, online, in person, because when I published the book, it was pre-COVID, so we were able to do book signings and things of that nature. But the feedback that I received was just awe-inspiring. I did not think it would be that much of an inspirational book to people, but what they told me about it, how they made it feel, it just made me realize that I'm on the right path and writing stories about people that other people can relate to.
So true. Yeah, I caught that immediately. When I was reading it, I said, "Wow, this a this story is a book in itself. You
Yeah.
could have probably wrote 100 to 200 pages for each particular story."
Yeah,
Uh,
each story could have been 200. You're right. You're
yeah,
right. But I wanted to
exactly.
cram it all onto one because I wanted to get, different people to relate to at least one of the stories. So it was hard, but it was very liberating to see other people be so inspired by the stories in it. And I'm in the people that I interviewed, I'm in their debt forever because they allowed me to write their story and they were willing to be, vulnerable and tell me what they went through.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah.
That's nice, beautiful. Now, meta. I could never get this word,
I
man.
couldn't either until I wrote the book, Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis. Yes, it's just that name caught me, and I butchered the pronunciation, but you know that's but it's definitely that's going to be the next book I'll get this week, and then you have Life, Love, and War. Now that cover, was that in Fogel?
Yes,
All right.
when that book was published, I purposely put that cover on there because it was published in 2013, and that's when the volcano erupted. So I wanted to pay homage to Cape Verde, and so the people know that the book was written for them. That they gave me the inspiration to finally put my first book out because it was the first book.
Yes, awesome. That's where um, parts of my family are from.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait to get there. There's still things from my great grandfather that are still there.
Ooh,
Um,
those are
it's
jewels and gems.
mhm. So I can't. It's just awesome. I can't wait to get there. My cousin asks me every year to go with him, and there's always something going on. So, but I will get there.
Now you get there in due time.
Yeah, that's it. Gene Rose says, Charlie, maybe your guest can suggest some podcasts for the audience. Is there any particular one you know of?
Yeah, actually, I have a great friend that I went to college with. He actually does. His name is Denoris Wilson. On Facebook is Denoris Wilson. I did actually interview with him a few months back, but he focuses on the advancement of the black race, and he really he's a follower of Marcus Garvey. So his content is always mind blowing,
Hmm.
to put it short. But
Yeah.
his podcast is on his page. His name is Denoris Wilson. So
Okay. Good. Good to know.
yeah.
Um, I think I seen that on your page. That gentleman.
Yes,
If
yes,
that
yes,
yes, he caught my attention.
yeah,
And talking about anything with Marcus Garvey is definitely something I would like to listen to because that's my dad's era. That's my dad's
mm,
beliefs, my blood dad's studies. That's where he tried to put me into the right direction to have some personal pride, and so I definitely I already like him. I already like him. Um, so we now the three books. You got a novel in the works. You had
yes,
mentioned that it would be out sometime late springtime.
yeah,
Uh,
late spring or early summer.
okay. I'll do whatever I can, hopefully. And I listen, I scroll through your page and you're talking about book signings. If the COVID allows us, you're going to do that. And
Absolutely.
again, I will leave my home to go visit you and make sure I'm there.
Not only that, but I'm trying to do a lot up there where you guys are. In the
Okay.
Massachusetts, Rhode Island area. I
Okay.
can't remember. I can't remember a lady contacted me and she wanted me to come to the Cape Verdean Museum in Rhode Island. So
Yep.
I told her I'm willing to do that and whatnot because the story, actually, the novel that I have coming out it's very different than all my books are very different, from one another. But this one is near and dear to my heart because this one is my first novel, but it is a Cape Verdean love story
Hmm.
with a revolutionary feel and a music feel to it. So I just try to take it back to like the Mika Cabral days, the Cesaria
Hmm.
Varda days, and I try to create a story that a lot of Cape Verdeans can relate to, and I put a lot of Cape Verdean references in there, and not just the place, but the beaches and the the bars and the plazas and everywhere else that
Yes.
all the Cape Verdeans do when we're in Cape Verde.
Hmm.
I'm whoever reads this book is definitely gonna feel like they're in Cape Verde because I made sure I it was fully infused with Cape Verdean everything.
That's good. That's very, very good. I love it. The woman you probably talked to is probably Denise Oliveira.
Probably.
Um, yeah, but there's quite a few people there. Um, and I had Joe Demora on here a couple of days ago, with his podcast. So they're looking to try to do a lot of things,
Yeah.
and it would be real nice if you're there and we can highlight your book and or your books. Period.
I told like I told her, I'll tell you the same thing. Whenever you guys need me, you guys are nothing but a drive away. So
Yeah.
I'll
All
shoot up
right.
there.
I'm gonna. I got some plans, with Cape Verdean authors, and I'm looking to do something starting this week, where I'm gonna, you know, have something. I'm not gonna throw it out there. It'll be blasted on social media tomorrow. But I was
Okay.
talking to you about, I just want to highlight the authors that are throughout the whole world, and put them in one particular area. So, it does a couple of things. It makes them noticed.
Hmm.
Financially, it'll probably help them when they could sell a book or two,
Yeah.
you know, on a daily basis. That would be great. So I'm going to work on that this week. Uh, but I should have it done by tomorrow. I started working on it a little bit today,
Okay.
and so I'm going to highlight people like you, Bella, Lucy Catino, myself. I got a few books, so that's what I'm looking to do, and I'll let you know about it.
Okay.
Won't do anything without your permission, and anything I do is probably is on the internet already, so it's something that you already approved of. It's not
Absolutely.
okay.
Not a problem.
All right. Um, I also would like to do um, a few things with maybe some virtual book readings or something like that. But not right now. But I'm looking to do that soon.
Okay.
So I'll have to let you know about that.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm open to whatever you want to do.
Okay. Um, all right. Let me see. I'd seen something earlier here. Um, all right, I'll get back to that. Everything in your book is it real life? Is it something that was just imagination? I mean, I know the human experience is true and
Hmm.
accurate, and it's just real people.
Hmm.
Um, all of the other books, was it?
Well,
Um,
the first book, um, the
that's
first,
life, love, and war.
yeah, Life, Love, and War. I actually that was most of that was written probably I want to say 10, 12, 13 years before I published it because most of it was written when I was in college.
Okay.
It's more it's poetry, but it's more of a I don't even know if there's a genre of poetry for it or any kind of
Yeah.
form of poetry that because I know poetry has so many they have haiku, they have all these other things, but
Yeah.
um I usually don't follow those kind of
That that's me too. I'm the
yeah,
same way. I can't.
I just write what I feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It has.
so
There's. I don't know if you can see behind me, but I go
mhm.
by um, a poetic pulse,
Yeah, I see it.
and I write from my insides,
Yeah.
and it comes the way it comes out is just the way I'm feeling. I
Mhm.
don't want any kind of I don't want any kind of
The structure that they make
yeah. It
with it.
just
Yeah,
yeah. It
yeah,
just
yeah.
that's what kept me. That's what stopped me from going to college for it. I mean, I did get
Hmm.
my college degree, but I didn't want to take any classes,
Yeah,
so I would be kind of restrained.
yeah.
And someone telling me that the way I'm doing it is not right, and or is not the way it's supposed to be written, and
Yeah.
um, so. But I had some inspiration from a middle school teacher that he told me you just got to work on a few things, your grammar, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I says, but you should start a book. That was around 2008, and his name is Mr. Karen, and I every day I thank this guy because the reason why I'm writing had a lot to do with him because every day he was, stopping me at work and he was like, "What you do today?" "Oh, I didn't do anything today. You should do something today,
Mm,
and that's what I like about him. And he wrote a book, and it's involving, he's a white man, and it's involving a young black kid,
mm,
and that story is, if he ever gets that story out in hardcover,
yeah.
to me it would be the equivalent of Huck Finn. It's
Wow.
just, and it's so fascinating. I was such in awe with it, but he showed me it, and he hasn't finished it up, but I wish he would. I really
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know what's the message you want to give. I mean, you have plenty of messages throughout your books. Is there one clear cut one that really is
Well, the yeah. So let me finish telling you about Life, Love, and War.
okay?
It was written as a young man trying to find himself. Just like anybody else, in regardless of race, or gender, or
Hmm.
any other beliefs that you have. But it was just a young person trying to find themselves. So that book was how they say, your first book is your baby, and that really was, because it liberated me and it made me feel as if it gave me the confidence to feel like I can actually publish books and I can write books. But what
Hmm.
I did not want to do, I didn't want to get I didn't want to feel caged in and be in any kind of expectation of others of what my books should do, regardless of how well that book did, because actually the book did very well, and then every other book that I've written have done better and better. But I never want to be you know stuck in a way that people are expected of me of what books I should write. That's why all my books are all different. So Life, Love, and War is really how to it teaches you how to overcome the things that are trying to box you in.
Hmm.
And then of course, I jump to um, the human experience, and I tell all those stories of those people. Uh, but Metamorphosis, the message behind Metamorphosis is just, it's you get to a point in your life, and the reason why I named it that is because you get to a certain point in your life that you have to. It doesn't matter if you're 19, if you're 49. It has no age preference, but you get to a point in your life that you have to look in the mirror and really find out who you really are, because a lot of people have been running for themselves and from society and whatnot. So Metamorphosis, the message behind it is really grabbing a mirror and putting it to your face and really being honest with yourself and say, because a lot of people say, I should have done this, I should have done that. But when you have that epiphany of what you want to do in your life, you have to really be honest with yourself. That's why when one starts reading Metamorphosis, the first page, I think the title is, because it's 7 chapters. The first page of the entire book says, "Who are you?" And it's really to question yourself, to really delve into what you are and who you are and where you come from, and then you have to start doing your research on who you derived from, and your ancestors. And I'm not even talking 400 or 500 years. I'm talking 60 years ago. Who were your grandparents? Who were your parents? So the point of it is to really inspire you to really truly find yourself. And when you do that, and hopefully by the time you finish with the book, you will have found who you really are, and you will have your metamorphosis. And this is why the title really befits the content within the book, is to find who you
Yeah,
really are.
I like in the book where you put a strong emphasis on Amor.
Mm.
and more, and you gotta, and is, that's what you have to do. You really have to do that. And if you don't do it, then what's the sense of looking? What's the
Yeah.
sense of looking if you can't? I I really can't wait to. There's no doubt in my mind between you know now and the end of April, I'll read. I'll probably read all your books,
Yeah.
um, and I'm trying to do it on my spare time. I finally put it on my Kindle so I can take it with me.
Makes it
Put
easier
it.
with the Kindle.
Yeah, I put it on my phone, but I want the hard copy, which is very, very. I need the hard copy so it can go on the shelf,
Yes, sir.
and that's what I need because we're still we still got to teach the young ones to read a hardcover book. Um,
Absolutely.
I even found myself getting away from it, and which isn't bad, but a hardcover book is something you can read.
Yeah.
You know, when you don't have
And
battery.
you can hold too for a very long time, because I don't know if when you're 65 plus and well, let me go grab that book I read when I was in my 40s. I'm not really gonna go on no Kindle. I can have the physical copy, because because my honestly my whole thing is my entire mindset is to always return back to Cape Verde when I retire. That's my plan. And what I want to do is I read a lot, so I listen to Audible a lot. So if the book is really good, I buy the physical copy. So when I'm in my retired time, I can reread them over again. I want to build like a nice library in my house as I do now, but I also want to have a big one when I retire, because I'm such a bookworm that I want to just sit there and just read. Because I
So
don't really,
true.
honestly, I'll tell you one thing I haven't really told you about. I don't really read my own books. I,
Wow.
it's just weird. It's funny
Yeah.
because I hear some singers and rappers or whatnot, and they say, yeah, I don't really listen to my stuff. I,
Yeah.
I I I do it and I put it out, and then that's it. And that's how I feel about my books. I haven't read any of my books after I've already put them out. Because you do the whole process of going through it, make sure it's all perfectly done, and then once it's published and out, I never read them. I have copies of them, but I never read them. So hopefully, I'll read them when I retire with other books that I'm purchasing at the moment.
Yeah. Now, explain that feeling when you first touched that hardcover, that paperback book. When it came in the mail, you had it in your hands. What was that feeling?
Ah, man, listen. The funny thing is that I had so many people, so many friends that I went to college with, so many close friends. Like, I had a friend of mine that she would always say, stop playing games, publish that book. I'm telling you, people to support. But I was caught up in working and taking care of my kid and everyday life. So I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. I get to it. And you say you get to it, 10 years go by and you're like, oh, I never got to it.
Yeah.
But when it came in, when I first really said, you know what, I'm gonna sit down, I'm really gonna do it. And I really put, forth effort in it, and I fully focused and disciplined myself. And I wrote the whole book. Well, I put it all together. It was most of it was already written through college. I just kind of put it all together and added more to it in about a 2 or 3 month span. And then, publish it. And it came and it held it was a surreal type of feeling. It was more like, what? I've been waiting for so long. I've been procrastinating, not even waiting, procrastinating to get it done. So
Mhm.
once I felt that first one, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna knock out. I'm gonna knock out 2, 3, in the next 2 years or so, or 3 years or so." But of course, is your plans never go accordingly.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
the feeling of having your first book is just more like, what? It's not only just your legacy. It's not only that people are going to remember you, but the most important thing about it is that when I meet people and they tell me that they're inspired by it, and then I look at the book and I say, what, it was meant for me to do this. And when it came, it was meant to be at that time. It wasn't when I thought it was supposed to come.
True.
And I feel that from every book that I publish. When people when people read it, and then I look at the, the reviews online, and things like that, it makes me, it keeps me very humbled, and I try to, every project that I get into, I try to make sure that I treat it as if it's my first project, because I don't want to shortchange anybody. I don't want to,
Hmm.
and I don't want to overcharge anybody for anything. My whole thing is for you to be inspired, and I don't think inspiration should be expensive.
No, no, it's and if people are not buying your books, like you said, it's not bad.
Yeah,
You can get all three of them for a price that you would pay for one book in
yeah,
Barnes and Nobles. So,
yeah,
but I can't wait to get my copies, and we'll go from there.
yeah.
Well, Mr. Gomes, I really, really, really appreciate all that you did. Coming on a real, we only had a couple of days to do this, but I'm glad that we were able to connect,
Yes, sir.
get a get a good quality time, good quality podcast. This will be here. It'll be on YouTube,
Okay.
so you can always have this copy, for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I'm honored. I'm honored to even be asked to speak on here. It doesn't matter if I sold 1 million books or if I sold 5 books. I feel
Mhm.
like, we just have to keep pushing and supporting one another, and hopefully that, people will gain some kind of inspiration from it and help others come on and just keep going. You have to pass that baton to the next person.
That's it. And what you saying that, I ask all my guests, um, could you name somebody or somebody that you wanted on the Really Charlie podcast? Who would it be? Um, Anybody. Could be one, two people.
Actually, I have. I would say it's two authors. There are two authors. People will say I'm biased because I know both of them, and one of them is my younger brother. But he's very different as a writer to me. You know what's crazy? When I first started reading, I needed like a dictionary, because
Hmm.
he's so brilliant in how he word plays. But his name is Derek Gomes, and also there's a young lady. I think she moved to California as well, like Lucy did,
Hmm.
but she's actually from Connecticut. Her name is Destiny Fidalgo. So I'll send you both of their information. Destiny Fidalgo and Derek Gomes. There are
Okay.
two young, phenomenal, new and up and coming authors that I think I'm very excited for those two.
Okay. I definitely, as soon as you send them to me, I'm going to work on that. Maybe we can get them on the podcast in April,
Yep.
and, back to back. And that's definitely good. I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Um, all right. All I can say is I'm here for you anytime you need this podcast to promote anything that you do. Please let me know. Um,
Appreciate that.
I'll definitely do whatever I can for you. It's just a matter of a link, and that's it, and we can get it done.
Absolutely. Same
But
here. Anything you need in Connecticut, let me know.
all right. God bless, man. I
You too, my
appreciate you.
brother.
Take care. You
You
have a
too,
great
brother.
night.
You
Okay.
too, brother.
All right. Wow. Fabulous story. Fabulous story from a good author with some good stories. 3 books with a fourth one on its way. Um, I'm so happy. So happy that I got to know his material, because if someone like Bella Montero that was on here, she suggested him, and I looked and found him, and look, the stories are great. I would have never known if someone didn't refer him. So that's what we're trying to do. And even Custodio, what did he do? He referred to other people. One his brother, another friend. You know, those you got to put some light on, put a spotlight on those people that should be looked at, because it just, the stories are truly, truly inspiring. And because of his books, I got inspired for something else, like I did with Bella. And it's just crazy. And that's what it's about. Good, positive vibes from positive people. And so please continue to tune in to the Really Charlie podcast. We have numerous guests coming on throughout this week. They'll be on tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's all week I'll be on. So continue to support the Really Charlie podcast. It's weird how this all started out. It was just going to be a one-day thing, and it led to many, many stories, many days throughout the week to get some people on the podcast. So, but we got some inspiring politicians coming on. We have some coaches, some mentors. It's some good guests. So please continue to tune in. The Really Charlie podcast here on StreamYard, Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube. If you need my email, it's reallycharliepodcast@gmail.com. You can send me a message, or you can directly reach me through Facebook and send me a message there. If you want to suggest a guest or a subject, please do so. All right. In conclusion, mask those beautiful faces. Hand sanitize your hands. Wash your hands. Stay safe, everyone. God bless. Love you.